Or do you want to wait on that?
I'm fine with it.
Those are them, that was the 23rd, right?
Yep.
Right, so I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for the last meeting as written.
Second it. Aye.
Aye.
Before I get into the other topics, a news and announcement went out today that the rabies clinic has been scheduled through Neshoba Board of Health. It's going to be Thursday, May 6th from 6 to 8 p.m., 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Highway Barn in Stowe. And there's a link for residents to click from that news and announcement as they can attend. They're only doing 4 this year. In years past, they've done maybe 12, 13 different clinics in all the different towns, but they've consolidated to just 4 this year. But they're a little bit later, and I know Bolton's dog licenses were already due, so there might not be that many people who need it at this point.
What was the date again?
It's May 6th, Thursday.
It's in the evening.
I'll start with some of the coronavirus updates. Bolton stayed in the green. This week, I think we had another 6 to 8 new cases. The state did change the way they report the weekly number, so I did not send the news in and out. I did not send the document out that I was doing, rather just posting that the what the new number was, just because it's embedded in the date and their data selection now. It used to be this nice, neat document. I could just link it, send it out, and anyone could look up any city and town they want. Now it's you got to go to one dashboard and then find your way to the next one, and then click and find your county, click and find your city or town. So it's a little more convoluted now. But we stay in the green, and right now fully vaccinated residents is 23.5%. which is 2 doses of Moderna and Pfizer and or 1 dose of the Johnson & Johnson to be considered fully vaccinated. The state did put a pause on the J&J vaccines today. On the call this afternoon, they said it was really just a pause. Everyone's to hold on to their supply. This is the one that doesn't have the ultra cold storage or need to be frozen or refrigerated. So it's pretty easy to just hang on to it. But that's all they really said. They didn't, they went into some details as to why they were pausing it. It was causing some blood clots, and they would just wanted to do a little bit more. I think the CDC is wanting to do more research. So the state decided to pause while that was happening. That's really it for, no, that's not it for coronavirus. I did receive an email, the town beach about the permit. Linda, who kind of runs the beach, said that they still have a valid permit. Last year, they let them know their COVID operating plan. One of the lifeguards' tasks is to ensure the COVID-19 protocols are adhered to. Right now, they plan to open the beach on May 29th and close on September 6th. That's what they wrote back to Kayleen, who works with Neshoba Board of Health.
Okay.
Nothing has come to me about that. The board, I from the Board of Health am copied on the water reports that come in every week. Bolton Youth Baseball did reach out to me and asked if the Board of Health had any additional protocols that they would like to see in place other than the state guidelines. The state guidelines are pretty, they're out there now, the social distancing, the mask wearing. I have to double check about dugouts. I don't know if dugouts are allowed this year. I know they weren't last year. But they are asking if the board thought that the board would implement any additional, any additional protocols so they can let the visiting teams come in know. They'll know from the state rules because they're doing those kind of things at their own field. But
I've seen no input that we should go further than the state. In which case I would suggest we go with the state unless something comes up. But if something comes up, chances are the state's gonna know it before we do.
Okay. I will let them know that I did send Lisa Sheppel, who's the Parks and Rec Coordinator at Town Hall, just an email to remind all league presidents, the mask mandate, the, social distancing rules that the state has out there, as well as, the obvious one, if someone's not feeling well, don't come to the field or the park or wherever. That also goes for Town Common, not just the sporting events, any event happening in town. I think they're starting to open up a little bit more. I think Lisa talked today in a staff meeting that they're doing art classes for kids and adults at the Town Common now, so they're trying to get some more programs in. So just a reminder to everybody on that.
Hey, Kristen, I got to step away for a minute. The doorbell's ringing. I think
Okay.
Pam might be locked out.
Uh-oh. All right, we'll pause. So it is nice that the spring sports are starting up again for everybody to get outside some
Yeah.
more.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's cold this week.
Okay, I'm back. It
Okay,
was
you're back.
Pam. She locked herself out of the house.
Oh, Pam, that's not good. I'll have to text her on that. No, I was just saying it's nice that the kids can start to get their sports outside again. I'm kind of tired of being in a cold rink all weekend, but it was cold outside this weekend. This week is cold. Snow on Friday. But I digress.
Yeah.
So that's really all I have for coronavirus updates is really, state rules are, there's not much change. The schools are back. The kids are back in school 5 days a week. So, Scott, I did have on the agenda next, and it's now a recurring topic, so we don't have to forget about it. Central Mass Mosquito. I did look on their website, and it says their 2021 season start. That the field crews are currently checking and treating wetlands, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
It says spraying for adult mosquitoes will begin late May or early June. We will begin accepting service requests for spraying after Memorial Day. So I've had one person call and ask, so it kind of prompted me to go to their website, and I just directed them back to this page here. It does say black flies, ticks, and other insects will begin to emerge once the weather warms up. They do not treat for those insects.
Right.
Black flies were all at my house last weekend, all of them. I had to get a car wash. Like they were just stuck to my car. It was terrible. So the season start for, the individual residents for spraying will be late May.
You said after Memorial Day?
After Memorial Day, yeah. I think Memorial Day is fairly late this year too by a calendar. I think it's the 31st. I think the 4th seems too early, but anyways, late May.
Well, the other thing is you, in the packet, you included the letter from Tim Deschamps.
I did.
And in there is a map of all the proposed traps.
You want me to bring that up and share it on the screen?
Sure. I think the main thing is it looked to me to be pretty comprehensive in terms of, covering basically all of Bolton. So I don't know if we have any other concerns or input, but if you can pull it up, Kristen, we can take just a quick look.
Sometimes I file things away so carefully and then it's under Board of Health. let's do it this way.
If it's being a bill, we can do it next meeting.
No, I got it. Just have to find the right.
Yep.
Let's go a little bit so I can see the. All right, so you can kind of see the grid. I can move it around, Scott, to bring in a different view if you need me to.
Yeah, so the yellow circles are CDC CO2 traps. The black X's are where Tim's staff have proposed potential trap sites. And like I said, I mean, this looks pretty comprehensive. You probably know these roads better than me, Chris. But I think it's, pretty good coverage.
No, it is. It's, I've got our swamps in South Bolton are well covered. And down by the flats in the east end, yeah, I think that's very good.
I think this area right here is Harvard and Green. This is Harvard Road right here. This
Yep.
must be Golden Run.
Yep.
and Green Road.
And where is Forbush?
Further west on,
Harvard, down Green. Forbush would be over here in the 110 area, right?
right, it's, yeah,
This would be the flats up here.
Yeah.
I think Forbush would be over here, right on the line.
just slide your thing down
Yeah,
and you're on Forbush.
Yep.
Slide
down a
your,
little bit further.
This one right here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that would be the only thing I would add. Given that the soccer fields are down there.
Mhm.
yeah,
But wasn't there a question with that last year with Rebecca and there was something about the conservation land, it couldn't be done?
It's possible, but at least if we knew that there were infected mosquitoes there, we could make a decision about,
Okay, so at least so it's more or less just to do the surveillance there so we know what's going on.
yeah,
and after that, we can decide what to do about it. If conservation doesn't like spray, we adjust our reaction accordingly.
Do you want me to reach out to Tim about that, Scott, or is that something you guys have a discussion on?
yeah, if you could reach out to him and just say, we reviewed the map and, the one area where, that came up where we could use a potential trap is on Forbush Mill,
Okay,
near the soccer fields.
okay. I can do that.
That that stream that runs through there too is on the list of potential projects to get rid of the beaver activity blocking the stream. So that could help as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we may not be able to spray there, but we may choose to close the fields or at least, let Parks and Rec make that call.
That works.
Okay. Hey,
Hey, folks.
Chris.
Sorry, I was late.
Rogers.
It's, again, beautiful sunny days and I was out on a little landscape project and I'm like, my phone's inside and I'm like, wait a second. Oh, crap. So, my apologies.
Great
Did I
out
miss
there,
it-
isn't
miss
it?
anything- Did I miss anything good?
No.
All right. So,
I know you talked to Bill earlier. The next,
Yep.
on the new topics, we have 357 Main Street. There's a proposal of a new project over there with, so the next page in the packet was an email from February 14th, 2013. So I have sent that over to Valerie, who is the new town planner, as an FYI. This is some of the information the board is still looking for. She had asked for statements from the Board of Health, Fire Department, Police, everybody. So I don't know if you guys want to wait for Bill to go over that. I don't know if, I think I sent the email to everybody, but she said it's being discussed at their meeting on the early stages on Wednesday, tomorrow, the 14th.
okay.
So she says she would take this email and let.
So just refresh my memory. So 357 Main Street, is that the,
I think it's the Skinner building, isn't it?
what's that, Chris?
Yeah,
The Skinner,
Yep. Special
Yeah.
permit
Yeah, the
application for office
pool,
and
the
sales
pool.
facility.
Yeah, the pool company, the environmental pools or whatever. All right. Yeah, I would say it'd be nice to have some input from Bill. I don't know what. I haven't had a chance to read the
The email
email, so I have no
from-
idea what was put out, so.
8 years ago was septic permit was dated in 2008. Items necessary to issue a certificate of compliance. So there's still some items that are needed. Bill's also asking when it changed ownership and was a Title V done. Neither he or I could find that, so we have to find out that information first. So I sort of let Valerie know, here's some information from the Board of Health. Again, nothing approving nor denying anything, but just sort of stated, this is information that's still needed before the board would sign off on anything. So
Okay.
I think it's on the very early stages,
Yeah,
on that side.
but I think they bought the property a long time ago
Yeah.
and just haven't really moved on it. And it sounds like they're finally ramping up, so. I guess we'll just kind of wait and see what comes in on that. I mean, and go from there.
For a recap, whether she has her minutes done first, or if she can just recap me on Thursday after
Sure.
the meeting.
All right, sounds like a winner.
Next two items are the swine and offal license for the next year. I think I've included, I created the new licenses. I will need them signed. So if anyone happens to be at town hall in the next couple weeks or can drive by town hall, let me know. I can just come outside and meet you. So we can get them signed if everyone's okay with, it's the same two licenses as we've had the
Yeah.
last however many years, and they've made their payments. So, so if everyone is, and hold on, Bill's calling me.
Is he watching?
They start changing the world. Bentley University, a force for business, a force for good. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to sing a famous way. Beautiful verses of world of music. Underwear and more. I have a little things on one wrestle.
Okay, Bill said if we need to call him, we can give him a call.
Okay.
All right, so back to just these other licenses as the board. Do you have to make a motion to approve them for the next year?
That's a good question. I don't know if, typically we just sign them.
Usually they probably just brought to the meeting and signed, but for.
Yeah, but I guess I can make a motion, generally speaking, to approve, because I mean, how many do we have
Just
currently?
two.
And that's Joe Barb and
Engine, right?
Yeah.
CMB Enterprises.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'd say, yeah, I mean, if necessary, I make a motion that we approve the
Second.
signing off the licenses, for the two entities on, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, yep,
All in favor?
Right.
thank you.
All
Yes,
right,
so,
done.
Like I said, the current ones expire May 1st, so if anyone happens to, like I said, be at town hall the next week and a half, then I can just put them in the mail to them.
I can be there tomorrow.
I will be there tomorrow now because I'm allowed to go back to town hall.
There you go.
The trash hauler licenses have been emailed out. I sort of forgot to put them in the mail. I've got one back. So again, hopefully I have everything ready for the next meeting, but I want to just let you guys know that those will need to be, those licenses are, I think, May 1st as well. So as soon as those come in, we'll get those signed for the next group.
Okay,
Okay.
excellent. Region
next,
2 EAT request, what on earth is that?
Yeah. So Region 2 sort of, let me find the email again. Scott, did you know what you wanted to talk about with this?
Well, it looks like there's some funds available to purchase emergency supplies. So the question is there anything we want to ask for? If so, we'll have to fill out some paperwork to get it approved. I forget what the deadline is.
April 23rd.
So 10 days from now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I forget, Kristen, if you had done the inventory.
So yeah, what
the
happened with,
bunker?
I want to share the request form. So this is the request form, which we can, put in there. The inventory was done at a high level when Jeff was able to get new supplies in from MEMA. Those are the simpler things like the Band-Aids, the gloves, the masks, the hand sanitizer. So I think for this type of request, if we were going to ask for anything new, we would need to think about some of the bigger supplies, the radios, any other sign, if we need new signboards, again, we would have to have room to store it in that closet room because there wouldn't be any room in the hall to keep it. I also kind of would wonder, do we think we would ever have a mass vaccination that we would need, or some kind of emergency we would need this for? I don't think the mass vaccination would help, given the fact how we're going through it now and we weren't given any opportunity to vaccinate our residents, at least at the town level. I know Neshoba's been able to do that. So, yeah,
So and I'm sorry, so let me just jump in. So if I understand correctly, Kristen, our stocks have been resupplied in the bunker. So we
correct.
are back at full capacity for masks, hand sanitizer, et cetera. So I guess the question is there something else that we think we need as a board? If this were to come to pass, that we would have a mass vaccination site or something like that. I mean, my knee jerk is that I think we're pretty well stocked, and then we also have a very capable fire chief and a very capable police chief. And I guess nothing is coming to my mind we might need, but Scott, I mean, if you think that there's something we could benefit from this.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed the item here, it mentions iPad or tablet. But I don't know what we would really be using them for. I mean, and then the radios, but I imagine the public safety teams have radios that could be used,
Mhm.
That are, probably more reliable. I mean, to a large extent, we probably would rely on cell phones, assuming that the cellular communication is working.
Yeah.
Um,
My only thing with the iPad or tablet, if we were to get that just as a precautionary, is there anything it could be used for in the meantime? I think if you were to get an iPad or a tablet and not use it until an emergency happened,
yeah,
you would
It-
sort of lose its you'd be, I don't know if there's anything else the board needs it for, like, is there any, need for, like, with the stream testing, you guys go out and do inspections, can it be used for that? I know for the building department, my inspectors have Viewpoint on tablets that they use whenever they do inspections.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's something that you guys could use in the field.
90% of our field work is done by Bill. So
Right.
I don't know if Bill could use it or not. If so, we should put in for it.
I could ask. If
Because he
you,
could use it all the time. I don't,
True. And that would be a good,
again, I don't know if this is just, any type of, emergency prepared. Yeah, I think it's more or less just for the emergency preparedness purpose request.
so
All right.
here's, yeah, yeah, I just thought it'd be good for us to just kick this around and see if,
Yeah.
if there's anything urgent, take advantage of it. But it sounds like maybe what we do is the next time we do one of those drills to, take a look at the bunker and come up with anything that, comes to mind that would be helpful, or get input from, the person that facilitates those drills to see, is there anything that we would be missing in an emergency?
I think they do this at the end of the year as well, because I remember talking to her, Jamie, after our last drill saying, yeah, we would need, that's when we sort of discovered all of our masks and gloves were 10 years old. And she had sort of said a request like this wouldn't fulfill those kind of items. They would go for the bigger thing. So certainly something that maybe once this deadline passes, I can reach out to them and say, as of right now, where we collaborate with Neshoba Board of Health, what would a small town like us need to properly move forward and to be prepared?
Yeah.
See if they can make some suggestions off of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But it doesn't sound like something we really need to pursue
No.
this time around.
And I think all those new supplies have already been put in the closet, so in the bunker. So I think we're good there.
Uh-huh.
rifles. We need rifles. Put that in the request.
I'm not training for that.
All right, so moving on to 29 Mill Pond Road.
So Bill talked to the contractor today, he said, so I think he'll, and
Now,
that was.
is that Andy's house?
No, that's 39,
Okay. I lose track.
39 Mill Pond Road. But he said he talked to the bill, this was a deed restriction we were waiting for. I got part of the documentation, I let Bill know. So I think we were just sort of, I think he got what he needed, so now he can finalize Viewpoint. Is where I am on that one.
Sounds good.
Chris, Slade, you want to talk about the 727 Main Street water testing at the end of the meeting, so we can sort of cut off the recording?
I would suggest that.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll kick that one down. 113 Harvard Road, Wellhead.
Did he talk to you today about that?
No, Bill didn't mention it. I assume it's too low.
No, it's a new construction down here on Harvard Road. They bought 2 lots, but the installer can't put a wellhead on because of the way Bill explained it to me, and it was like so far above my head.
Okay.
So I will have to have him either submit notes to you guys on
That sounds like a
that.
bit of a problem. If you have a well without a wellhead, then I'm not sure what you do.
But I know the owners are looking for their occupancy.
Okay. I mean, I can talk to Bill tomorrow morning about that. That's not a
Okay.
problem. he didn't mention it. Okay, moving on to building permits, Mechanic Street 10 permit and Powder Hill Road bathroom remodel, both approved. Septic permits, Kettle Hill Road D-box, 43 Teal is sewer line, and 42 Flanagan upgrade.
So he said he hadn't reviewed 42 Flanagan.
Okay,
I don't,
just say, I assume he's already taken care of the sewer line and the D-box.
yes, that one's already been done and it was kind of a
Yep.
as need basis.
Yep,
And the Kettle Hole D box is a result of a Title V in the inspection reports.
yep,
So he did, that was the one thing he did ask on the phone. If anyone has questions, we should call him for those. If not, I can give him the okay to sign off on them and move those along before having the
absolutely.
next meeting.
Well, just in the spirit of clarity, so I did the Title V at 54 Kettle Hill Road, and there's a bad D box, and I'm like, all right, I can do my inspection now, or you can just fix it, and I'll come back and inspect upon the repair. And so that's what I did, because it spares the homeowner, weeks of
Backing and forth.
getting the permit approved, and then, so.
Okay.
But there it is.
Any questions on those, or are you guys okay with Bill signing off?
I'm okay with it.
I mean, the upgrade, I assume we'll see, because that's gonna be a full plan.
Yeah, he hadn't, that one isn't, I don't think you'd be approving that tonight. He didn't think he was gonna have time to review it. I think he just got the
Yep.
paperwork, but it went on the agenda as he knew it was incoming. So he wanted it there in case it was ready to go. So it's really just 54 Kettle Hole and 43 Teal.
All right,
Questions?
Nope.
I have none.
Okay.